Cowboys Nation, what's going on? Welcome back to another jam-packed update from inside the heart of Cowboys HQ at the Star in Frisco, where the energy is electric and the moves being made are already shaping the direction of the 2025 NFL season. As always, we've got the latest on everything you need to know about America's team. From roster shakeups to bold draft plans and even a fan-favorite legend returning to the spotlight, there's a lot going on right now in the Cowboys universe, and trust me, every move has meaning. If you're a die-hard fan, you're going to want to stick around for this entire update, because today's news hits all the major fronts: free agency, draft strategy, and a dose of emotional nostalgia that reminds us what this team is really about. So, before we dive deep, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you're always plugged in when breaking Cowboys news drops. Let's get into it. We'll start off with a signing that flew under the radar but could end up paying big dividends when the season is in full swing. The Dallas Cowboys have agreed to terms with veteran offensive lineman Hakeem Adeniji. Now, at first glance, this might not be the kind of headline that sends shockwaves through social media or lights up talk radio, but it's precisely the type of move that separates good teams from great ones, filling critical depth roles with players who've been through the battles, who know the grind, and who are hungry for another shot. And make no mistake about it, Adeniji is exactly that. According to Clarence Hill of Dallas Sports, Adeniji is making his way to the Star, ready to step into a reshaping offensive line room that's undergoing a bit of a makeover after some high-profile departures and lingering question marks. For those unfamiliar with his journey, Adeniji was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals in the 6th round of the 2020 NFL Draft, and while 6th-round picks don't always pan out, he made an immediate impression. As a rookie, he suited up in 15 games and started 5, a solid start that laid the groundwork for what came next. In 2021, he took on a more prominent role, stepping in as the starting right guard midway through the season and holding that position all the way through the Bengals' remarkable run to the Super Bowl. Think about that for a moment. This is a player who's already been to the big stage and contributed along the way. His journey since then has had its twists. After being waived in 2023, he spent time on the Minnesota Vikings practice squad and managed to get on the field for 4 games, although all of his snaps came on special teams. Unfortunately, he hit a major roadblock in 2024 when a preseason knee injury with the Cleveland Browns kept him off the field for the entire season. But now, he's healthy, he's motivated, and he's ready to prove he belongs in the NFL once again. And he'll be doing it in Dallas. Let's talk about what Adeniji brings to the table. He's not coming in to take over as an all-pro. That's not the expectation. But what he does provide is a crucial element that every successful NFL team needs: versatility. Adeniji has logged reps at both tackle spots as well as right guard, making him a prime candidate for the all-important swing tackle role. In case you're unfamiliar, that's the player who can step in wherever needed when injuries inevitably hit the offensive line. And with Zach Martin now retired, the right guard spot wide open, and depth behind players like Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele still up in the air, a guy like Adeniji becomes even more valuable. He may not be flashy, and he may not be the first name fans think about when they dream about Lombardi trophies, but these are the kinds of signings that matter come December and January. When bodies are bruised, legs are tired, and your playoff hopes hinge on whether your line can hold up against a ferocious pass rush, having a battle-tested pro like Adeniji ready to plug in can make the difference between going one and done or punching your ticket to the next round. These glue guys are the unsung heroes, the silent warriors who may not get the camera time but who keep the engine running smoothly. And that brings us to another developing storyline that could shake up the draft in a major way. Cowboys COO Stephen Jones made headlines earlier this week when he publicly stated that the team is open to trading back in the first round. Now, That may not seem like a shocking revelation, it's common front office speak this time of year, but what's intriguing is the specific scenario starting to gain traction involving the Cleveland Browns. That's right. A bold trade proposal is now making the rounds, and if it happens, it could completely change the way we experience draft weekend. Let's lay out the situation. The Cowboys currently hold the 12th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, a premium spot that carries a trade value of 2,200 points on the Jimmy Johnson chart. That pick puts them in the range to snag a blue-chip talent, maybe a top-tier offensive lineman, a dominant defensive player, or even one of the best wide receivers in the class. But it also puts them in a powerful position if another team is desperate enough to move up. Enter the Browns. With ongoing uncertainty at quarterback and a front office that's reportedly enamored with prospects like Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders, Cleveland is eager to make a leap up the board. So here's what's on the table. In exchange for pick 12, the Browns would send Dallas pick 33, 580 points, pick 67, 255 points, pick 94, 124 points, pick 104, 86 points, and a 2026 third-round pick estimated to be worth around 200 points. The total value? 1,245 points. That's a significant drop from 2,000 points on the surface. But that's not uncommon when teams are chasing a quarterback. And for the Cowboys, it's not about the math, it's about what those extra picks could mean. Trading down would give Dallas something they currently lack: volume. Instead of spending one top 15 pick on a single player, they'd suddenly have 6 picks between 33 and 104. That's 6 chances to add talent. 6 opportunities to find contributors. 6 shots at turning this draft into the deepest and most impactful class in the entire league. And when you're in win-now mode but still building for the future, that's an enticing proposition. Imagine this scenario. At pick 33, the Cowboys take wide receiver Micah, a polished, NFL-ready playmaker who can step in and contribute immediately alongside CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. At 44, they land cornerback Trey Amos, a long, athletic defensive back with shutdown potential. At 67, they grab defensive lineman Alfred Collins, who's raw but overflowing with upside. Then, at 76, they take R.J. Harvey, a powerful, shifty running back who could form a dangerous tandem with Rico Dowdle. At 94, it's Agnez Peebles, a disruptive interior force who can anchor the middle of the defensive line. And at 104, they wrap things up with linebacker Danny Stutzman, a sideline-to-sideline machine who plays with the kind of fire Dan Quinn used to love. That haul alone would be game-changing. But you could mix it up with other combinations: C.B. Maxwell his 10 at 33, W.R. Jaden Higgins at 44, R.B. Quinton Judkins at 67, D.B. Noel Williams at 76, D.L. Deion Walker at 94, and Edge Baron Sorrell at 104. However you stack it, this is the kind of draft that fills holes, boosts competition, and raises the floor of the roster. As always, the Cowboys are playing the long game. They're adding depth with smart free agent signings like Hakeem Adeniji. They're exploring aggressive draft strategies that could net them multiple contributors. And they're doing it all while staying financially flexible, keeping their cap sheet clean, and maintaining a competitive core built around superstars like Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott. But the next big moment on the calendar isn't just about trades and picks. It's about honoring the past while building the future, and that brings us to a piece of news that stirred hearts across Cowboys Nation. Travis Frederick, yes, the bearded warrior who once anchored the best defensive line in football, is returning to the franchise in a special way. During the 2025 NFL Draft, Frederick will be the only former Cowboys player taking the stage in Green Bay, where he'll announce one of Dallas's Day 2 selections. Let that sink in. Travis Frederick, announcing a future Cowboy in his home state of Wisconsin? That's poetry. Let's rewind for a moment. Travis Frederick was born in Wisconsin and played college football for the Wisconsin Badgers, where he made a name for himself as a powerful, intelligent, and unmovable center in the rugged Big Ten trenches. In 2013, the Cowboys used a first-round pick on him, a move that was immediately questioned by many analysts. But 2 years later, every single one of those critics had eaten their words. Frederick quickly became the cornerstone of a legendary offensive line, playing alongside Tyron Smith and Zach Martin. Together, they formed a wall of dominance, opening holes for DeMarco Murray and Ezekiel Elliott while keeping Tony Romo and Dak Prescott upright. Frederick's career was marked by excellence. He earned 5 Pro Bowl nods and was named All-Pro 3 times, all before turning 30. He was on a surefire Hall of Fame trajectory. But life, as it often does, threw a curveball. In 2018, he was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare autoimmune condition that attacks the nervous system. It sidelined him for the entire season. But in 2019, Frederick staged one of the most courageous comebacks in recent memory, reclaiming his starting job and playing every game. Still, he knew he wasn't the same. In 2020, he made the gut-wrenching decision to retire, writing in a letter to fans, "Playing well is not what I expect of myself, and it's not what my teammates deserve." And that's who Travis Frederick is. A player of unmatched character. A leader. A warrior. A cowboy to the core. So when he walks across that stage in Green Bay to announce a new draft pick, it won't just be ceremonial. It will be symbolic. A bridge between eras. A moment that reminds us all what it means to wear the star. Cowboys fans lit up when the news broke. Social media was flooded with messages like "one of the smartest players I've ever seen," and "total class act, I wish he could have played longer." That's the kind of legacy Frederick leaves behind. Quiet strength. Elite performance. And unshakable humility. And who knows? Maybe the player he announces becomes the next great Dallas offensive lineman. Maybe it's a center. Maybe it's a guard. Or maybe it's someone on the other side of the trenches who embodies the same grit and heart. Whatever the case, this moment is going to matter.